business owner, you know how important it is to have a presence on the web. But are you keeping up with the latest technology and the emerging trends? Well, here to answer that question and more is Karl Hakkarainen, who's the owner of Queen Lake Consulting. How are you, Karl?
Good morning, Jen.
Thanks for coming today.
Oh, glad to be here.
Let's talk, before we get into specifics, let's talk a little bit about your IT background, which I know is extensive.
Sure thing. I've been in the business for about 35 years. Started off with the largest companies with digital, went to IBM, EMC, and other companies, and have been on my own since 2009. And my grandkids still need help from me with setting up their Wi-Fi networks, so I think I've still got some relevance today.
That's impressive if your grandkids are asking you questions. Now, Queen Lake Consulting, where did the name come from?
We have a summer home in Phillipston, Mass. On Queen Lake. It's a place where my father bought and built a camp back in the 1930s. So it's a place where I spent all my summers as a kid. We've got a sauna by the lake, and we've also got broadband there, so I can work there just as efficiently from the shore as I can from my home office in Holden.
Nice. Well, I would think you're really enjoying with your own business, keeping up with the trends and then helping companies do the same, you know?
Exactly. One of the things that is really intriguing about these times is how the technology has changed the way we relate with people. And with that, how websites have changed. It used to be that websites were the go-to place for all kinds of activity. Now it's a stopping off point on the way to other kinds of engagement through social media, through other forms of direct contact. You still have to have a good website, it still has to be current, still has to work well on all kinds of devices, but it also can't be the end. You know, the real thing is engaging with customers in a way that they want to be contacted.
Right. So if you're contacted by a client, you can either help them create a new website or you can work with their existing?
That's
Is that
right.
True?
We can set up a new website if they need one, convert one if they need one. For example, if they've got an old website from Yahoo services or for some other vendors, we can bring that over into something a little bit more modern, a little bit more flexible. Again, the notion that all of us are accessing the web by way of our smartphones, and so you really have to have something that works well on all kinds of devices. We recently ran into a case where we'd sent out an email newsletter, and one of the recipients had a question because it wasn't displaying quite right on his watch. So it's no longer that you can have a really nice website that looks great on a 19 or 27-inch monitor, or even a tablet or a phone. Now we've got to make sure that it scales down so that it can display on a watch.
Which, how crazy is that? You know, and I know, now you recently redid the Wachusett Area Chamber website.
That's correct.
And that was one of our issues, is that it looked great on my computer in the office, but if you're looking at it on your phone or your iPad, you were seeing something totally different, right?
Right. In fact, there's a hole right in the middle of it because it was using a chunk of flash to display photos, and flash didn't work on an iPhone, doesn't work on an iPad. So we started the conversations about redesigning it so that it would work well on all kinds of devices, and that led to some further discussions about how do businesses use this technology to market themselves, tell their stories.
Right. So is that a relatively easy fix for you to go in and help someone make it be adaptable that way?
For varying values of the easy, that you can usually extract the information, make a few small changes and make it scalable. In some cases, it may be more work, but it's still not an onerous amount of work for me or for the customer. But usually in the process, just as if you're putting on an addition to the room, if you're redesigning, you also want to rethink, how am I using this space? What do I want to do here? What am I trying to showcase?
Which is what you're really good at helping us get at, is boil it down and get back to your core and make it work.
Right. Yeah. Well, remembering that people are impatient. People come to websites now not to sit and browse and read and look at pictures most of the time. They want to know, if you're a retail business, are you open? If you're a commercial vendor, how can we get in touch with you to talk about various services? If we're going to be buying something from you, what is the product and how much does it cost? So some of those fundamental things that may get lost if you don't have a design that supports that.
Right. And then you're also able to help a business owner put it in the context of all of the other social media outlets out there,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That the social media is so much a part of the way in which we communicate with our customers, the way in which we relate to people. And it's not just about selling product, it's also about understanding the customer's business, understanding our own businesses, and doing the follow through. I mean, there have been lots of cases where I've had companies do social media support by way of Twitter. So I'll have a question, I'll put something up on Twitter, they'll respond, and this solves things without having to pick up a phone, without having to track down a customer service rep. It's done in a way that is friendly to everybody, and yet that's something new, that's particularly for small businesses, because you think, okay, do I have to be online 24/7?
Right.
And how do I do my day job, and how do I keep my business going? And so it takes some rethinking on what is your business and how do you relate with your customers.
Right, and where are those customers,
Right.
which you've said is key.
Right.
How will they find you?
Right. So part of it is being available by search when people are intentionally looking for you. How do I find a fencing company? How do I find a financial services company? How do I find a restaurant? But it's also sort of the accidental discovery when you start putting things out on Facebook, when you start posting things on Instagram and Pinterest, people start to realize that you know what you're talking about, and you've got some value, and they may not be interested in buying from you or engaging in your services for 3, 6, 9 months.
Right.
But you got to be there.
You have to be there.
And you have to establish some kind of credibility as a thinker in your field.
So if you were to sum up the services that you could provide, how would you do that?
Primarily, it's to help people make the best use of information technology. So we're looking to see how businesses, but also individuals, use the stuff that's in their office, use the stuff that's in their pockets, get things done in the most efficient way. Again, remembering that we've all got day jobs. We're all trying to get our work done, and trying to do this kind of marketing and engagement is hard. You have to make decisions about how not to do things, as well as what to do new. And that's part of the discussion that I like to have with our customers and with people in general. So I talk with a lot of people about a lot of stuff and find out what's going on in their lives and how do they learn about things, and in turn bring that to their businesses.
Right. Well, I think for everybody out there who's watching, if they're feeling overwhelmed with all of this, that you are truly a go-to person. And I know you have been for the Chamber, and we can see the changes on our website.
Oh,
so, yeah. Thank you, Karl. It was great talking with you
thanks,
today.
Jan. It was a lot of fun.